Hello everybody, Cheer Up Charlie here, and welcome to Musical Chairs. And today I have today's guest star is the phenomenal Gaby Roslin.
Phenomenal. Thank you, Charlie. I like to be called phenomenal. Thank you very much. How are you coping with all of this?
I'm good, how are you?
You're all right. Are the family all well?
Yeah, we're all well.
Good. What would you like to ask me?
Well, are you ready for my kind of questions?
I'm ready.
It's amazing because I get to be the one interviewing you this time.
I know. Go on then, ask away. What would you like to know?
My first question is, how old were you when you broke into the industry?
Well, when I was 3 years old, I knew I wanted to be a TV presenter. It's all I ever wanted to do all my life. And then I trained at Guildford School of Acting. And when I left there, I got my first job in the end of I was 22. Yes.
That actually leads on to a question later. What was it like presenting the best breakfast show, The Big Breakfast?
That's very sweet of you to say, but you weren't even born then. It was fantastic. And working with Chris Evans was an utter joy every single day.
Yeah. My mum tells me he's very, very funny.
He is very, very funny. He'd love you.
Thank you. So you played Mama Morton in Chicago.
Yes, I did. Wow, that was a long time ago.
Was stepping onto the West End a dream come true?
Sorry, say that again. I missed it.
Was stepping onto the West End a dream come true?
Yeah, I used to say when I was at GSA, I used to say, what I'd like to do is be a TV presenter. One of the teachers actually wasn't very supportive and used to say, that's not going to happen for you. And I said, but that's all I've ever wanted to do. I want to be a TV presenter. But everybody else was very lovely. And the other thing I used to say was, I'd love to be in a musical, but I can't dance. So long as I can belt out a number. And then Chicago came and offered me that, and I had to go and audition. I did a couple of auditions. When they got it, I just couldn't quite believe it. So I did it for almost a year. I did it for 6 months, and then I came out and I missed it. So I went back in for another few months.
This leads on from the first question. What was your first role after leaving GSA?
It was a TV show called Hippo, and it was a pan-European cable satellite station, because nobody had heard of that before. And it was a station called Super Channel. And so I used to do a daily weekday show for young kids. And I started out in children's telly, and it went out twice a day, every day of the week. And I did that for over a year. And then I left there and I was resting for a little while. Worked in shops, always worked in shops. And then I went to do Saturday morning telly Motormouth not long after that. So I was very lucky. And Saturday morning telly was what I'd always dreamt of doing. That Blue Peter first, and then Saturday morning telly. So when I started doing that, that was quite something.
That's cool. That's really cool. So you did a lot straight after leaving GSA.
Yeah, I was very lucky. I was really lucky, because I was very determined, very disciplined, and I just knew I wanted to be a TV presenter. And I always say to anybody now who asks my advice, I just say, if you've got a dream, follow it. But as my parents always told me, don't hurt anybody in the process. So you can be disciplined, you can be determined, but do it always with kindness in your heart. And that's why you and I met, was about, being kind. And I believe in that very strongly.
Yeah. That's a very good belief. Do you prefer to present or sing and act?
Present.
What would your dream role be?
Now, or was it? What do you mean, my dream role when I was a child, or my
dream role when you were a child and your dream role now?
My dream role, well, when I was very little, I wanted to do Blue Peter, and I got worried about it because I'm allergic to cats, and they always had cats. And then when I was a young teenager, Saturday morning television started, and it was always kids telly. Before you were born, it was kids telly on Saturday mornings. And I watched a show called Multicolour Swap Shop with a guy called Noel Edmonds. And I thought, that's what I want to do. And so when I did do that with Motormouth, I remember hearing, because you have something in your ear, you have an earpiece.
Yeah.
And in my ear, they count down, and I could hear 10, 9, and it was going live, 10, 9, 8. And I remember just welling up inside thinking, oh, this is what I wanted to do when I was 11 or 12. I can't believe this is happening. And that was the most overpowering excitement. And then when I did Motormouth, everybody used to say to me, oh, what do you want to do next? And I said, I'd like to do this every day of the week in the mornings. And then the big breakfast happened. So it was madness. It was great fun.
That's cool. That's really cool. Yeah, same as me. I want to be I want to be a Blue Peter presenter.
Do you? I thought you wanted to be an actor in a musical.
Yeah, but I'd also like to do a bit of presenting.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
Keep your options open.
What would you be if you had not gone into the arts?
A TV presenter.
What would you be?
There was nothing else ever that I ever thought of doing. I mean, I was 3 years old, and I honestly can tell you there's nothing else that I would have done it. And if I hadn't done it, I have no idea, because it's all I wanted to do.
A bit like you. That's a bit like me.
I know.
How does someone like me get into presenting?
Well, these days it's very different than when I started. So when I started out, you only could go, there were only a few channels. There were only 4 TV channels. There was BBC One, BBC Two, ITV, and Channel 4. And now, of course, there's Channel 5, but then there's this huge array of things. Now, you're doing it already on YouTube, and a lot of people start on YouTube. Look at Joe Suggs. I mean, he does fantastically well. So I think follow your dreams, as I said, but there are all sorts of ways. Also, you know what? Enjoy being the age you are. Don't always think about working. Enjoy doing what you do, and enjoy, and you know, you can stand up against those horrible bullies who have been horrible to you, and you've got your own YouTube, you've got all of that. Take it slowly, never give up your dreams. And the other thing I say, when you're an adult, not now, okay, not now, because they won't reply. But I used to watch TV shows, and then I'd look at the name at the end of the credits, which you don't see credits very often. But I used to look at the name at the end, and I'd get the name of the producer, or I'd get the name of the executive producer, or the production company who's making it, and I'd write them a letter. These days you write an email. But I used to write to everybody. And these days, it's about knowing who's doing what's happening, but also you can ease up at your age. You can you can know what you want to do and have some fun doing that, especially at the moment with all of this going on, which I want to talk to you about. But just follow your dreams, and hopefully it will happen.
Yeah, that's really good advice. Thank you. So you presented Children in Need for 4 years.
I did it for 11 years, 12 years.
12 years? You presented Children in Need for 12 years? Oops. What are the charities you are or were you involved with?
Oh, gosh. Right. Well Child, which everybody knows that I'm involved with, and I get to do the most incredible, meet the most incredible people, and I love that charity. Well Child's amazing. I do that with our patron, Prince Harry. So we both do the award show together in October. It's an amazing charity. The Well Child nurses go into homes where the kids actually need full-time care and part-time care, and it's very difficult for parents and siblings to be able to cope with all of it. So we have Well Child nurses that go in. We also do Helping Hands, where we go in and make over gardens. So can you hear me still? Oh, there you are. You are still. So Well Child, Click Sergeant Cancer Care, who are amazing charity who work with children and young people with cancer. I work with the Born Free Foundation, which work with wildlife, and they are amazing. I'm patron of that. The Marie Curie, which also is another cancer charity. The reason I'm involved in a lot of cancer charities, Future Dreams, which is breast cancer charities, is because my mother died of cancer 23 years ago, at the same time that my dad had cancer and survived. So I try and do as much as I can to get the importance of charity work. And Prince's Trust I work with very, very closely as well. I've been involved with them for 25 years.
You work with a lot of charities.
I think it's important to do that. I'm very blessed. I'm really blessed to do what I wanted to do since I was 3. So if I can help any way I can, I will.
Were you ever bullied?
No, that teacher though at Guildford who told me that, I'll tell you the truth, what she said to me. She came up to me and she said, "Darling, if you get that face on the television, I'll hang myself." I saw her recently. She didn't. I'm very pleased to say. But she didn't like the fact that I wanted to be a TV presenter and that I didn't want to be a serious actor. And I was at Guildford. But no, I wasn't really bullied. I remember people not being very nice to me because I had buck teeth. So I remember people not being nice to me about that. So, but it wasn't really bullied as such, but they used to call me a bunny rabbit. And I was really self-conscious of having buck teeth. And then I had braces and I used to walk, no, but I think people can be incredibly cruel. I've had people that I've worked with, 33 years I've been in television, and I've had people that I've worked with. There's a couple who weren't very nice to me because they were jealous. And I think you and I talked about this before, that jealousy, I think, is a root of all evil. And there was one in particular who was very, very nasty to me. And he didn't like the fact that I was doing okay on the show when I was doing it. It was a long time ago. Obviously not Chris Evans, who I love. But it was before that. And he wasn't nice to me at all. And he used to whisper nasty things in my ear. And I remember somebody in charge, so the big boss, called me in and he said, "What's the matter?" And I didn't want to say anything. And I said, "Oh, it doesn't matter." And he said, "No, what is it? I can tell." And so I said, "Somebody's not saying very nice things to me." And he said, you always told me that all you wanted to do was be a TV presenter. Are you going to let that person stop you doing what you love? And I looked at the boss and I said, "No, I'm not." And that suddenly I went, okay, I'm not going to let that person be nasty to me anymore. So every time he said the nasty things, I would just try and let it just go over my head. But they've stayed with me, those nasty things he said. And sometimes the press were very nasty, but you know what? I think times are changing a bit now. So, but it comes with it. I never wanted to be famous. I just wanted to be a TV presenter. There was nothing about fame I wanted. So there are some odd sides to being well known, but the pros far outweigh the cons. I'm very blessed.
Have your kids ever been bullied?
No, luckily. No.
That's
They'd
good.
have to hear it from me if anybody was horrible to my kids.
What advice would you give to someone getting bullied?
Talk all the time. Go and talk to somebody, talk to a teacher, talk to your parents. Don't keep quiet about it. I know Childline at the moment, the NSPCC, they're inundated with people calling at the moment because obviously fear of coronavirus, but also they're very, lots of people, I know some kids are really struggling at home at the moment. So phone somebody, call somebody. Childline is there. But also talk to your parents. If you've got carers and parents that you can talk to, do it. Please, please, please. Talk to your teachers. I know people aren't in school at the moment, so they're very worried. But all of those things are vitally important. Talking about it and discussing what's happening, not keeping it quiet, telling everybody what's happening, and also standing up for yourself. I don't know if you found that, Charlie, but when you know that thing about just talking about it does make it better, doesn't it, Charlie? Because you know.
Yeah.
And also then coping with it for yourself, talking about it, having coping mechanisms, talking about it, but also then letting those people know that they are not going to get to you. And some of the things that have been said to you sicken me to my core, as you know. And that I always believe, and I could be very wrong, but I always believe that when a child is nasty to another child, it's because of their own insecurities. It's either they're jealous, or they're insecure about something, or they're being bullied. And also, I've always said to my kids, if anybody does that, think about what they're going through and let's discuss it. And I think that's really important.
Yeah, it is really important. What would you tell yourself as a child if you met yourself right now?
Say that again. Sorry, I missed it. Say it again, please.
If you met yourself as a child right now, what would you say to yourself?
I always say the same thing. If I met myself as a child, I'd say, follow your dreams, don't give up, it will happen. Never give up on your dreams, even at my ripe old age, because I've still got dreams, hopes, and ambitions. But also, I tell myself not to be so self-conscious, especially about a scar, which I have here on my arm. And I was very self-conscious because I got that when I was about 12, and I used to always hide it. What a waste of time. So I would say that. There we go.
It's like me with my hearing aid. I'm quite conscious about when people see that.
Loud and proud. You know what? And when I wear strapless tops and all sorts of things, and I don't care. And here's the thing. That was it. People used to, and they weren't bullying me, but people, when I was 12, and people used to go, ew, what's that? And that's why I started wearing long sleeves and everything. And do you know what? Since I have my scar out, not one person has ever said to me, what's that? In the same way with your hearing aid, nobody's going to say to you, what's that? Because they know it's a hearing aid. Yeah, and it's going to help you hear. So nobody will say anything. And if they do, then they're ignorant. And also, if they say anything about it, you can say to them, ha ha, I've got a hearing aid. I can hear now what you're saying.
What would your autobiography be called and why?
I wouldn't write one, but if I did, it would be never stop smiling and always be kind. That's probably my life. That's how I feel about life as well.
Yeah. Now it's time for a couple of funny questions.
Okay, I'm very ready for a funny question. Charlie, ready.
What is your worst habit?
My worst habit. My family are all in the other room and they're probably laughing now because my worst habit is never finishing a sentence. It drives them mad. I do when I'm interviewing, but when I'm telling them something, I'll say, oh, do you remember about, oh, what happened with, oh, shall we? And they always go, oh, Mom. And my husband just goes, Gabby, finish your sentence.
Actually, I don't finish my sentence sometimes.
Really? Well, there we go.
What is the worst thing you have done on set, and did you get caught?
The worst thing? You mean a funny thing that's happened?
Yeah.
I've never really been a naughty person, so I've never done anything. Oh,
No.
I did. Harry Met Sally. I'll tell you about that. But on TV, all sorts of things. Because I've always done live, I don't mind everybody knowing what it is, so I don't really mind. But when we did Harry Met Sally, we were on tour with that for 6 months. And we all tried to get the word avocado we all had to say the word avocado. And when people were saying it, it was very naughty of us and we shouldn't do it. And I'm not advising any actor to do it, but it was quite funny. And it was a matinee. And I was doing a scene with the actor, not the guy who played Harry, who's still a dear friend of mine, Jonathan, rather, who's an Emmerdale, of course. But it was with another actor. And I had to, it was a goodbye at the airport. And I thought, oh no, he's going to do it here. I knew it. And he had to look at me and he'd say, oh, I can't believe I'm not going to see you for so long. Oh, I know, I love you. And I'm so sorry you're off. Those aren't the words, but you get the idea. And then he looked and went, don't forget the avocado. And I properly corpsed on stage. It was very naughty, but it was quite.
What do your kids always tell you off for?
What do my kids tell me off for? Kids, what do you tell me off for? Did you hear that?
Yeah.
Everything. Yeah. I'm an embarrassing mum. I'm a full-time embarrassing mum. On Instagram, I do something called shopping in your wardrobe, and my youngest films it. My oldest does this. Oh, but when I do TikTok dances, they're both of them just go, "Oh no, mum."
What animal would you be and why?
I'd be an elephant because they're my favorite animal, and that's why I got involved with Born Free as well. I love elephants. I'm very lucky. My family, my dad comes from Zimbabwe, and so I went to Africa many, many, many times. It's the most beautiful country with the most wonderful, kind people, and the most incredible landscape, and of course the animals where they should be in the wild. And seeing elephants in the wild is really quite something. So it would be an elephant, and then probably a dog. I love dogs. But I can't have a dog because my husband's allergic.
No.
I know.
And you can't have a cat because you're allergic.
I'm allergic. Yeah, he's allergic to that as well. I don't love cats. I like them to look at, but I've always been allergic. But dogs I grew up with. I always had dogs. My mum bred dogs, so I've always had dogs. So it's very odd for me not having a dog. So if I see a dog in the street, but obviously at the moment you can't, but if I see a dog in the street, I sort of want to go, oh, can I cuddle it?
Now it's time for some quick fire questions.
Okay, I'm ready. Let's go.
Text or talk?
Oh, talk.
Favorite city?
I'm sorry, I didn't hear that.
Favorite city?
London.
Last song downloaded?
Oh, the Billie Eilish, Bad Guy.
Favorite superhero?
I don't really have a superhero favorite. Oh, I don't know. Wonder Woman. There we go. Wonder Woman.
Same as my mum. Night owl or morning person?
Both, but morning.
Yay!
Probably.
Another both. Yay. I like waking up early in the morning, and I also like staying up late.
Yeah, me too.
Favorite movie quote?
I'll have what she's having. Don't ask me. It's from Harry Met Sally, which is my favorite movie.
Do you snore?
No, I don't, but my husband does.
Hogwarts house?
Oh, the kids always tell me, which Hogwarts house am I, girls? No, I'm not.
What did they say?
They said Slytherin. I'm not. Oh, hold on. Sorry, it got paused. Hold on. Let me get back. There we are. Sorry about that. The phone went. They're saying Slytherin. No, that's not fair. Which would I be? Which is the nice one? Which is the one that Harry's in?
Gryffindor.
That's the one.
Well, there can be nice Slytherins. I'm in Slytherin and I'm nice.
Yeah, you're very nice. No, I think I'd like to be with Harry.
First celebrity crush?
Donny Osmond. You wouldn't know who he is, but I was going to marry him. And then I ended up working with him quite a lot. And he's one of the nicest people.
Last Halloween costume?
Oh, I had a mask. I went around with my youngest, so I had a mask on. It was a gold mask with really flat face. It was really scary. And tiny little slits for the eyes. And I remember a little girl in the street, tiny little girl dressed as a ballerina. I just turned around and looked at her. I didn't say anything. I just had a black coat on and I went around like that. And she screamed because it was one of those masks that had no expression. I won't do that again. It was too nasty.
That's the end of the quickfire questions. I've got one more thing, and it is, what is your best impression and can you do it? And then I will do my best impression for you.
Okay, my best impression is Miss Piggy. Kermit, my love. Kermit, come here, Kermit.
Oh, that's really good.
You liked it, darling.
That's really good.
Let's do yours then.
Mine's Goofy.
Go on.
Hi kids, Goofy here.
That's brilliant. That's the best. I think Alistair McGowan, who's the best impressionist in my eyes, is one of my best friends. And he would be so impressed. He would give you 10 out of 10.
Thank you so much, Gabby.
It's a pleasure.
Been
Can I
a
just
pleasure.
ask you something, Charlie?
Yeah.
How are you coping with all of this and lockdown? How are you coping with it all?
It's a bit hard because it's such nice weather and it's the Easter holidays and I'm not doing homeschool and I'm not doing at school, and it's hard because I just want to be outside. I can be outside in my backyard garden, but I want to be playing with my friends.
Yeah, I know. That's my kids feel the same. Are you using Zoom and House Party and things to talk to your friends?
Thank you so much for letting me interview you. It has been amazing.
It's a pleasure. Charlie, anytime. Lovely to talk to you. Take care
Lovely
and
to
please
talk to
stay
you too.
safe.
Bye.
Bye.
End the meeting.
So that was Musical Chairs with Cheer Up Charlie. Hope you enjoy. Bye.